There are many issues that are faced by the board and by all of us, and one of them has to do with sexuality. And so we're going to invite Leigh Shaw to come forward and to repeat some of that which she shared with our clergy session. Leigh.
Hey there, clergy sisters. Clergy sisters. Hey there, clergy brothers. You thought I was going to leave you out, didn't you? Hey there, laity. Together we are the body of Christ. And there are some broken, wounded places in this body of Christ. And so I want to talk to you about a challenging topic, but it is my honor to talk about it because together we change the world. Together we make a difference, and together we heal those broken places, and that is what we are trying to do. But even as I talk to you a little bit about sexual harassment, what I'm going to say is not a full telling, and it is not really meant to be. It is an opportunity to invite us to create space, to hear one another's stories, to hear one another's stories about the woundedness that we have experienced in the church, among each other, clergy sisters, clergy brothers, laity. There is woundedness in our body, and it should not be silent anymore. And though I talk about sexual harassment, I don't want us to understand this as a singular, egregious, predatory event, verbal or physical. It is bigger than that. Sexual harassment falls on a spectrum, which includes sexism, gender bias, gender microaggressions, gender baiting, body shaming. Somebody came up to me yesterday and said, "What is body shaming?" If you don't know, please start that conversation. The other thing I want to say is that sexual harassment, the spectrum that we talk about, is not about flirting or sexualized advances. It is something that is about our use of power and authority. So, the other thing that I want to say is, though I speak about this as it is related to women and clergy women, we want to make sure that we are clear that this is not just an experience that women have in isolation. We know that men have experiences of harassment and sexual harassment and gender bias also. Having said that, over this last year, we have seen a dramatic unfolding of stories around women and sexual harassment and abuse. On October 15th, 2017, a tweet said, "If all the women who have been sexually harassed or assaulted wrote #MeToo as their status message, we might give people a sense of the magnitude of the problem." Within 24 hours, #MeToo had appeared nearly 1 million times on Twitter and 12 million posts and replies on Facebook. Millions of additional #MeToo posts flooded social media in the days that followed. The conversation about these issues that were raised with the #MeToo movement has not let up since October of last year. And you and I both know that it is something that has gone on since Adam and Eve. It is not a new phenomenon. There is a provocative and much quoted quote that is attributed to Margaret Atwood that highlights the difference between a woman's experience and a man's experience. It is provocative, and I share it with you not as a statement of truth, but as an invitation for conversation. This quote was brought to me by a member of my congregation in this last week. as it is a quote that was used in the latest episode of A Handmaid's Tale that dropped on Hulu. The quote is this: "At core, men are afraid women will laugh at them, while at core, women are afraid that men will kill them." It is provocative. Whether it resonates with you or not, it will resonate with a member of your congregation. And it is a part of our conversation that we are having currently about this unfolding issue of sexual harassment. Lutheran pastor Nadia Bolz-Weber wrote an article titled, "We're in the midst of an apocalypse, and that's a good thing." She says an apocalypse is a good thing because in Greek the word apocalypse means to uncover, to peel away, to show what's underneath. Nadia says there has not been a sudden uptick in sexual misconduct or assault in our country. The hashtag #MeToo and hashtag Time's Up movements are simply exposing what was already there. According to the Center for Disease Controls and Prevention, 1 in every 5 American women have been raped. According to the same, 44% of American women have experienced some other form of sexual violence, sexual harassment, or some other form of sexual abuse other than rape. And these numbers came out, they preceded the Me Too movement. And it is believed that in light of the Me Too movement, the numbers are dramatically underreported and that they don't sufficiently define the extent of microaggressions that women face every day. Once you are aware of these issues, once you open your heart to sharing in this conversation, there are wonderful, helpful resources that we can draw from as leaders of our congregations. Sojourners Magazine in November published an article called 4 Ways Churches Can Respond to the hashtag #MeToo movement. You can Google it or ask your pastor to pull it up in the material that we shared last night. But number 4 of these is refuse to be party to the conspiracies of silence. In January of this year, the Council of Bishops released a statement on the hashtag #MeToo and hashtag #ChurchToo movements, which began with, over recent weeks and months and continuing on a seemingly daily basis, the media have been saturated with stories of persons coming forward with allegations of sexual misconduct perpetrated by individuals in positions of power and authority. Their letter goes on to offer salient perspectives and support, insight, and it concludes with this statement. To the extent of our ability, we pledge to do the right thing in every complaint received, including listening well to hear the story and developing a response which holds accountable and offers healing for all affected. And last month, COSRO released the hashtag #MeToo Toolkit with resources for a faithful response. It highlights our social principles on sexual misconduct, human sexuality, pornography, along with some prayers, online resources, a bulletin insert for your Sunday morning worship service, and a flyer for the website umsexualethics.org. 1999, our annual conference, the Journal, if you look that up, you will find our clergy sexual ethics policy and strategies for the prevention of sexual misconduct, which includes material on self-care. Self-care is critical to restoring the body. And laity in particular, I lift this to you. We who are your clergy, who serve with you, need your help. We need your help to ask us what our day off is, how we are taking it. I will confess that on weeks that I neglect my day off or neglect my own self-care, I become a little bit shorter in my responses. You know what I mean. So please, help us, hold us accountable for good self-care. We need your help. We are partners in this ministry that we do together. Another great resource that I strongly recommend for those of you who know Marie Fortune's work in clergy sexual abuse, there is a website with her material. It is faithtrustinstitute.org. It has some great inclusive ecumenical resources, not just for clergy, but also for congregations. I commend all of this to you, and I thank you for listening. And I give thanks to my clergy sisters who have come before and advocated and act courageously, and who have faced sexism of a different generation and even now. And I give thanks to clergy brothers who speak out and stand up for gender justice, again, from long ago and for now. There are fractures in our body which are not yet seen. And together, let us confess and let us go about healing our body. Thank you for listening.